I'm Benjamin. Welcome to another Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Today I'm going to share with you a theme selection of firearms that can be found on banknotes. I'm going to try to say firearms because I don't want this video to be flagged, but they are a part of culture and they are a part of history around the world, and lots of banknotes from nations will show one as part of its design. I like to show this blue banknote of Venezuela because I think it's a very pleasing color, and I like how relaxed I am looking at the note. And I also like how sometimes whenever I don't shave, I feel like this gentleman on the note because it looks like he has a 5 o'clock shadow as well. But if you take a look at this lovely blue, you see a lovely little hand piece right here. It's a beautiful, ornate. I wonder if it's part of a dress, dress weapon, because it looks like there's some inlay, maybe metallic inlay. But it's a nice, looks like a heavy weapon of war. And on this side of the note, a lovely view of a hydro electric dam. And some angelfish right there. We're going to move from Venezuela to Cuba. This is a more recent banknote of Cuba, definitely since they became a socialist nation, from 1991 as a matter of fact. And when you look at this side, I'm not seeing that particular weapon. So let's take a look on the other side of the note. And yeah, this is a very interesting, vignette. If you take a look at this vignette over here, you have a whole bunch of people waving flags and bouncing their guns up and down in a salute. Ooh, I said it. And it looks like it's the Guerra de todo el pueblo. So the war of all houses. I mean, I don't pretend to know necessarily what the Spanish equivalents are of these things, but it is surreal to see all of these being waved up in the air. In fact, you know what it feels like to me? It feels like that day back in 1994 when I was in the West Bank of Israel, and it was being turned over to Fatah of the Palestinians. And we got off of our tour bus and surrounded by Palestinian soldiers waving these guns. And I have a lot of mixed thoughts about that to this day. I don't want to be political in my videos. So let's move on to this Czechoslovakian note where they have soldiers and workers. And on the front of this note from 1964, you see a worker and you see a soldier. Here in the bottom corner, you can see a hammer and a scythe, which is, a symbol, of communism. And then over here, you see, they look like they're friends, don't they? You see here this soldier with his gun right there. But it's a well-designed, beautiful red-brown note. And I've always liked how Czechoslovakian notes have a lot to say without saying any words. They have some of the prettiest engraved designs that you can find on a banknote to this day. This looks like some sort of petroleum outfit, although I don't promise to know what that is either. I get a whole lot of Bolivian vibes when I look at this particular design. We're going to move back to Cuba and look at a 20 peso. This is a specimen 20 peso from 1987. And here you have Camilo Cienfuegos in his cowboy hat or whatever hat you would see. Lovely blue color. And on the back of this note, something as mildly disturbing as that other 20 peso was. A bunch of people walking from place to place carrying their guns. And it looks like it says 2nd of December of 1956, Desembarco del Granma. So whoever this grandma is, I don't think she was making chicken. It may be some sort of march of the people or the start of the march of the 2nd of December 1956. But if you look, just about every one of those men have some sort of gun, whether it's the submachine gun or the machine gun or just a rifle, that they're carrying, as it looks like they're walking through water headed to a destination. So the note has a lot to say. And sometime we might do a video and get what needs to be said. We're going to move over to Cambodia for a 1975 50 reals. Now, this is a beautifully engraved note too. And it's a sad note because I'm pretty sure you have some peasants here, but they're behind some fortifications, and they're not just carrying rifles and guns. It looks like this front soldier, who looks like it might be a woman, is armed with a mortar of some sort. Although I don't profess to be a genius when it comes to weaponry. It's a beautiful tropical scene, marred by the weapons of war, either way. And when you turn the note over, you can see workers in a field planting rice. There's some cattle or water buffalo, and they're taking care of the field. And then there's a decorative detail from Angkor Wat. Up here, you may notice that it says Kampuchea. When I buy a new banknote, I try to keep all the labeling intact, so I have something called provenance, and I like that. And there is a lot of banknotes and a lot of people in time periods, and you know it's Cambodia, but they will pronounce it Kampuchea. But if you listen carefully, you can see how they both are really the same word. Listen as I say, Cambodia. Now listen to Kampuchea. Do you hear how they're really referring to the same country? So don't be tricked to think that Cambodia and Kampuchea are two completely different country names. They are the same country and, in fact, the same name. Let's move over to a small banknote from Laos. This is a kip from Laos, and I like these little banknotes. Most of them I hardly paid anything to get, and I just like them. And on this tiny little one kip, you can see that there's a group of citizenry marching with the flag. There's workers, there are professionals, there are farmers, and there are soldiers bearing weapons. In fact, you see that little rifle right there, right? A nice little note. And on this side, a classroom scene where they're educating children. And there is a map on that chalkboard there at the front of the room. So this fits a whole lot of little themes that I like to collect and put together in one place. We're going to end up this video of Firearms on Banknotes with another green banknote, but this time from Cuba. This is another pattern as well. And we have Antonio Maceo on this side. And when you turn the note over, we have yet another scene of weaponry. And in this case, it looks like the September to October of 1958 invasion. And you have a lot of different weapons. I mean, we had like machine guns in the other picture, and here we have rifles, and we have pistols, and we have weapons on the back and weapons drawn, people with raggedy pants and straw shoes. So, I mean, I think it alludes to Cuba's interpretation of this, rightly or wrongly. I don't know. I'd have to do more research as to this being a local peasant uprising. These are by no means all of the banknotes that have firearms, and firearms can be found in the arms of many nations. They can be found in the hands of people on the nation or on the banknote, and they can be a part of the side vignettes or even the engravings that have them around on other corners, like the corners of the banknote. So if you have any other banknotes that have firearms on them, you might consider adding to our list here. I've done videos on cannons, I've done videos on bow and arrows, I've done videos on other kinds of weaponry, so it's possible I have detailed the banknote you would share with us, but it's also possible I have not, because there are a lot of notes that depict weaponry. Please like and subscribe to my channel, comment and add to the conversation in the comments, or feel free to cuss and discuss with me what's going on with banknotes that have firearms on them. I am Benjamin. This is Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Have a jewel of a day.